The second item on our Sunday Six is our Victory Unlocked. It's brought to you by Zillow, agents, tours, loans, homes. And it highlights just how important that earlier Bills result was, because couldn't you feel it coming? I promise this isn't a copy and paste from a previous week. This is a completely unique result that took place on Sunday night. The Kansas City Chiefs were involved in a close defensive struggle, stressful game that came down to the end, struggled to separate themselves despite having an early lead. And yet, in the final few minutes, they made just enough plays. They executed just well enough. They got the exact right amount of yards to put themselves in position to win the game on special teams at the buzzer. You know how this goes. Chiefs do it again. Another insanely stressful win. Another division title. Chiefs take down the LA Chargers 19-17 to win the AFC West for a ninth straight year. Back-to-back 19-17 wins against division rivals that they were favored to beat. They needed something to go their way in the final moments. You could there are five different things that went their way here against the LA Chargers in a game that, for the briefest of moments, I thought the Chargers really might be able to steal. They took the lead with 4.5 minutes to play. They had all their timeouts. You figure, okay, even if the Chiefs go up and score here, the Chargers should have a chance with the ball to maybe try to steal this thing at Arrowhead, keep the division race alive for another week. But no, because Patrick Mahomes is still that guy that you want at the end of a football game. They get the ball 4.5 minutes to play. They convert 2 huge third downs. Patrick Mahomes does his Patrick Mahomes thing where he scrambles for 10 yards when he needed 8 to pick up a huge first down with 3.5 to play. And Jim Harbaugh is using his timeouts as judiciously as he possibly can. He's trying to keep this thing alive. 3rd and 7. Timeout's all used up. If the Chiefs get it, they can do whatever they want. They can drain the clock. If they don't, they got a kick and the Chargers get a shot. I don't need to even say anything. Patrick Mahomes, he makes the game deciding play with his feet. He scrambles just enough to get the Chargers to commit. He finds Travis Kelce. Yes, Travis Kelce, who's had a mostly forgettable year, but he's going to be there to catch a 9-yard pass on 3rd and 7 with the game on the line. And if all that wasn't enough, of course, Matthew Wright, who's replacing Harrison Butker, who's injured, is going to doink the field goal. And for 31 other teams, whereas the doink would hit the end zone turf and send this game into a Chargers upset, Matthew Wright's doink banks between the uprights. The Chiefs win the division as time runs out. I think this team was built in a lab to make people mad. Their last 6 wins have come by 1 score. 10 of their 12 wins this season have been decided by 7 points or less. They have the best record in the NFL. They have the 11th best point differential in the NFL. Plus 56 point differential for a team that cannot lose is absolutely mind-boggling. It's basically never been easy. Even their wins against the Saints and 49ers, which were technically by more than 1 possession. Not technically, they were. But if you watch those games, you know that there was a lot more bullshit going on in those games than the scoreline would suggest. This is who they are. But you know what? You're crazy not to trust it. You are crazy not to trust it when Patrick Mahomes can do this week in and week out. And it is such a huge week for the Chiefs because they find a way to win this game. They lock up the division. But more importantly, they get a win on the weekend that the Bills finally lose. Remember, you don't need me to remind you, Buffalo beat Kansas City a few weeks ago. They've got the head-to-head tiebreaker. Buffalo was breathing down their necks. And now, not time to relax, but at least now you can exhale a little bit. There is some margin for error. Chiefs have a 2-game lead on Buffalo with just 4 games to play this season. It's not decided yet. Absolutely not. The Chiefs haven't won a stress-free game in 2 months. How could we possibly say that there's not going to be any more drama in the AFC playoff race? But it's got to be nice to know you have that little bit of breathing room so you can afford a slip against, say, the Houston Texans or the Pittsburgh Steelers, both of whom are coming up on the schedule. I wouldn't recommend it, but at least you can allow yourself that margin for error. Big weekend. I don't think anybody was expecting this to be the week that the Chiefs gained some ground in the playoff race. I think, both of these teams were playing the LA teams. Felt very much like a fait accompli that the Bills were going to beat the Rams. And if anything, maybe it was the Chiefs that would lose this game to the Chargers. But no. It's this weekend that the Chiefs gained some ground. I would say, not to rain on their parade, and I refuse to doubt the Kansas City Chiefs, but I would just like to point out this offensive tackle issue for Kansas City is not going away. It was longtime veteran DJ Humphries that got the start at left tackle against the Chargers. Struggled early, which is totally understandable. Hasn't played a lot of football this year, but he gets banged up in the game. So now you're going back to Wanya Morris. Patrick Mahomes got hit 13 times in this game. He was sacked another 3. At this point, I don't even want to entertain the idea that the Chiefs can be beaten because so few teams seem capable of doing it. But eventually, when the playoffs do start, that's something I'm watching out for down the line. If maybe somebody can make more plays than the Chiefs at some point, but it was not in week 14.